Screen is visible. Okay. Okay. So at the last that we can talking about the error reporting, we can see the how we can handling the error, how we can hiding that the error from the browser. So today that we can see about the secure testing for the cryptography first, and first of all that we can see about the Apache directory listening, and then we can see that how we can securing code of the cryptography. In a cryptography that we can see how we can securing that the password. Okay, so main thing that we can see how we can securing that the password. So before we going to the cryptography code, first of all, let's understanding that the Apache directory listening protection. So first of all, here we can see what is the mean of the Apache directory listening. So both are the different Apache directory listening and the directory listening. Okay, the directory listening that we can cover it the later, like we can using the white listening and the listing are here, and in Apache directory listening that we can see how we can hiding that the directory name and the common file name. Sometime what happened like in the application that we have the many sensitive files are here, like the admin files and many configuration file and so on. So at that case what happened here that the attacker is seeing that the all are the file in a clear text in a browser, like listening of the file, listening of the common file and the directory name. So here what we can do that here we can just see that the how we can securing that file means how that the this file is not visible to in a browser and all these things. So if I will see that in a browser right now, that we know that the all are the file are the visible right now. So let's see that the how we can securing this type of file, and here we can just use the htaccess htaccess are here, like we can creating the htaccess configuration file, and in this configuration file we can see how we can securing the this type of files. Okay, so okay, so yeah, open. So here we can just we can see that just the example, and source code. Okay, so okay, SRR. Okay, so right now here we can see it is showing the index of the complete directory and all this thing. So what we can do here, we can just see that the how we can creating and how we can removing this things from the browser. So in the browser right now it is showing the call or the directory listening are in a clear text. So we can see how we can hide this type of listening. So there are the two ways are here. First of all that we can see that the creating that the whitelist. Okay, we can creating that the white list and applying that the whitelist. So in this whitelist we can see that the all are this file are that the we are not allowing into the indexing area, like that if we have that the admin.php file and all are the files that we can mention into the whitelist, and that file is not visible into the browser. So this thing that we can see in later when we have covered the directory listening vulnerability, then we can talking about the this thing like how we can creating the whitelist. Second method is that we can use the proper access control and authorization policies, and how we can use that we can just using into the htaccess file. Okay, so in the htaccess file that we can see how we can securing this type of files and how we can do that. So basically what the mean of the htaccess file is that the configuration file into the application. So whenever you see that the any application like it is not only in a php, it is working on a jsp also and a asp also. Okay, so same thing that we can also use in a JSP and the ASP.NET. So in the htaccess is that the configuration file. So in that file what we can do that we can writing that the some line of the code, and there are the many configuration are here. I will share the complete word file of the htaccess where you can see the all are the possible configurations of the any of the application that we have. So right now that we can see like the how we can protecting that the indexing are here, like how we can removing this indexing. So to removing this indexing, first of all that we need to creating that the htaccess in our the parent file. Okay, in or the main directory. So this order the main directory. Here I will just create a new file, and the name that we can give as a file name is the htaccess, and then we can save. Okay, so .htaccess. So here I will save that the file. So in htaccess we can just removing the all are the indexes. So here we can just see option minus indexes. Okay, and then we can save. So in the htaccess file we can just write this code option minus indexes, and then we can save, and after that we can just restart the server. Okay, so after we can, whenever the doing the configuration in the htaccess file and any of the configuration file, and all time what we can do here, we can just restart the server. So now let's restart the server again. So just that we can stop the Apache and MySQL services both, and again that we can restart. Okay, and after restart, then we can see that it is removing the indexing or not from over the file. So when I will see that, and now let's see, and here you can see it is showing the access forbidden here. Okay, so now we don't have the permission to access the requested directory. It is allowing only the HTML file and the .php file, which are the executable in the browser. So now it is not showing the any of the file in a clear text in a browser. So right, like that, there are the many configuration of the htaccess file that we have. So I will share the complete word file in a group, so you can just go ahead and read about the htaccess. So I will show that the what is that the configuration that we can do with the htaccess file. So here we can see that htaccess snippet to the improve. So there are the many code are here to improving the htaccess. We can see it at the later also. So if I will disable the directory browsing, then in that case what we can do here, we can just use the option, and we can also use the all are here. Okay, both are the same. Only selected file if I will need to remove, then we can writing the code like that here, like files, order, deny or allow. What are the things that we need? Order and deny and allow, both are the option. So here we can just see deny from all, and what are the files that we can deny from the browser. So these all are the file are not visible in a browser. Okay, this practical we can also see it the later when we are talking about at the code level vulnerabilities, when we'll see that the how we can securing that the extra files are here. So just like that here we can removing the all are the files, we can allow only selected IP address to the admin access. Sometime what happen on the admin page, only the selected IP that we need to IP address to access the admin folder. So in that case how we can securing these things are here. So in that case we can just use the admin folder. It's containing that the file that is required to run the dashboard. So the most of the case what we can do here, we can securing the admin page with the help of this code snippet. So here we can just write that the IPs, like what are the IP address that will allow. So there are the many things like hot linking or the deny image, enable the browser caching, or redirecting the maintenance page, custom error pages. We can also define the custom error pages are here, and all these things. So here I will share the complete the htaccess snippet. So where we can securing the htaccess file. Okay, so here we can just see that the how we can securing the this all are the files, and how we can doing the main configuration, disable the directory browsing. Okay, directory browsing, like most of the case that you can find this directory browsing in a WordPress website, where we can see the w content and all this thing. Or basically we can see that the many time, like generally example we can see in a PHP application, client side application, and this type of things that we can see the directory listening area, like the Apache directory listening. So we can use the this thing like the option and all these things, and then we can removing the indexing area, complete indexing that we can removing from order the browser. So in the browser now we can see it is showing the access forbidden area. Now it is not showing the anything here. We can also removing this thing here. So this is the one code here. Right now I skip in mind. So here it is also not mentioned. Okay, so one more code are here for in htaccess. It is removing the server signatures. Okay, so these all are the server signatures we can also removing, but we can doing that the code into the htaccess. I will also share that the how we can removing the server signatures from the browser. So most of the case that we can use a simple option indexes, and with the help of this one what we can do here, we can just removing that the all are the indexing from order the browser. So now you can see that the in our the browser now the directory listening are the not happening here. We can do that the one more thing here, that we can see it the later in a like the directory listening. This is known as the Apache directory listening. And one more thing that we can see that the directory listening here. We can see it the later what is the mean of the directory listening, and how we can securing that the directory listening. So this is known as the force browsing. We can also see that this is known as the force browsing, or we can also generally name is the vulnerability is that the Apache directory listening. So Apache directory listening is a in that case what we can do, we can just creating the simple file is name as htaccess, and these all are the setting for the htaccess are here. We can like that with the help of this one, we can allow only the selected IP address to access the admin page. We can deny the image from the hot linking, and all these things that we can all are the things that we can see it the later. All are the things, all are the practical we can doing in a htaccess. I will share the complete htaccess documentation, so where you can go ahead and read about the htaccess, and then you can use the all are the code snippet. So now after that, the indexing that we can removing. Now let's see that the secure code testing for the cryptography. Cryptography is that the very important thing in that the PHP. Why it is the important? Because that the mainly what happened here, like the by default. Okay, like we know that the in most of the application that we can take the username and the password. So username that we know that all time, like the normally username is showing in a clear text, but the password it is not showing in a clear text here, right? So sometime and many time what happened in the PHP, Java and the ASP.NET applications, mostly right now we are talking about the PHP, understanding the vulnerability in a PHP. So let's talk about only in a PHP. So in a PHP, most of the case what happen in a, by default that the password is stored into the MD5 format in a database. Okay, and the most of the developer is using that the only the MD5 are here, MD5 encryption. So the password hashing is that the one of the most basic security considerations that we have the see when we have the uh, securing that the application. So without hashing that the password, that all are the password are stored in the application database and easily stolen by the attacker. So most of the case, and by default what happened that in the PHP applications, it is taking the password in the MD5 format. Like so, like if I will create writing the any password and this password is going to the MD5 encryption, that is not secured. Okay, MD5 is not a fixed encryption, that's why it is not secure. It is easily crack. We can easily decrypt the MD5 encryption. Okay, and so in that case what we can do here, we can just using the hashing are here, not an encryption. We can use a secure hashing for the storing that the password in the database. So the main thing that in a cryptography that we know that it is science to the encrypt and the decrypt data that enable that the user to storing the sensitive information like the password area. In that case right now the password is order sensitive information. So here what we can do that we can just see that the how we can encrypt that the password. And encryption, the by default that the developer is use the MD5 encryption. If it is the developer, it is not use any of the encryption, like the developer is writing that the password in a clear text in a code. So in that case the by default browser or the database is accepting that the MD5 encryption by default. So in many time what happened that the password is easily decrypted here by the attacker. Okay, so what we need here, we need to securing that the password are here. So how we can securing that password? So in that case what we can do here, we can just using that the hashing are here. We cannot use that the encryption method that we know MD5 is that the easily decryptable are here. We can easily decrypt the MD5 type of encryption. So now first of all let's see that the when I will creating that the code. So we can do that the code into the MD5 and then we can see how we can securing that the password hashing. So there are the many type of the encryption that we have. We can use the many encryption methods. So most commonly that we can use are the hashing are here. Right now that we are going with the hashing are here. So the hashing algorithm, it is take that the input value and then we can see that how it is that the encryption are here, how it is encrypted the value. And in the hashing what are the approach that we can use right now? See that when I will use the MD5 encryption, okay, MD5 encryption for the password, when I will see the output of that the password, like let's see that the if I will creating that the password is a test at that 123 this order the password, and the encryption method of encryption key is generated by the test at the rate is the fix I here, right? So we can easily see into the Google, or there are the many tools are available to decrypt the MD5 encryption. We can easily decrypt that the MD5 encryption. So now what we can do here, so here we can see the test at that 123, and when I will see that that is the fix for the test at that 123 I am. So what are the approach that we can use? We have the use of the hashing approach, and in this hashing approach what we can do that we can regenerate the password hashing again and again. Like once that the user is right at the password test at that 123, after some time or after reloading the page, the hashing is the change are here. Okay, we can creating the hashing, and after reloading the page or after refreshing that the page, that the all time the encryption key is that the change. So now let's see that the first of all we can see the practical in a practical approach how we can creating that the program. So first of all I will write the vulnerable code in the MD5, where we can just see that the how the code is look like that. So here I will create the one folder. Okay, so now let's see here we can just storing that the password in a variable. We cannot create like the input fill and all this thing. I will just storing the password in the password variable, and passwords over password is the my password. Okay, so our password is ordered the my password, and we can just with the help of the echo we can just print the MD5 encryption. MD5, and what is the password, or password I store in or the password variable. Okay, so now let's run that the code. So here you can see that. So it is showing the this type of encryption. So when I will reload, then you can see all time the code is the same. So now let's see the MD5 decryption. Decrypt are in Google. We can see that can we decrypt the MD5. Basically we know that we can easily decrypt the MD5. So right now just we can test that the can it just decrypt that or not. Basically there are the many online tool are also available, and the offline Linux are also available to decrypt the MD5. So let's see that here. If I will paste this key and let's decrypt. Okay, it is not decrypted. Let's see here. Basically we know that MD5 is the easily decrypted. So let's some of the online tool is the easily decrypted, and some of them not. Okay, so let's try the last one. Then we know that the MD5 is the easily decryptable. So let's see that the last one, it is the decrypt or not. See that. Okay, so here you can see that here it is showing that the clear text in a password over the MD5 is the easily decrypted. This is ordered the password. If you see in a code line, this is ordered the my password here, and here if I will see the key of the encryption, so this is ordered the key of the MD5 encryption. And with the help of the online tool, we can just see that we can copy that the text, copy that the key, encryption key, and when I will see that the output, then output is showing the clear text password. So what is what the password is? Our password is the my password, right? So now what we can do that we can just using that the hashing are here. So hashing is that the no word like that the decrypting, dehashing and like that. So hashing is that the not easily decryptable are here. We can use a strong hashing method, and then we can see why the hashing algorithm is the not easily guessable, and there is no word behind like the decrypt are here, like the dehashing and like this are here. And one more thing in the hashing is the secure. Here you can see that when I will when I will reload the application again, all time the code is the fix are here for the my password. But now in a hashing, what we can do that once that the code is generated, once the key is generated, then it is the expire here. Automatically it is the expire, means after reloading the new one key is generated for the same password. Okay, and older one is the expired. So in that case the attacker have the no idea of that the what is that the key are here, what is the right now present key are here, because that the all time the key is the new generated. So how we can do that, how we can randomly generated key are here in the password for a password. So right now that we can just see that the password, now we can use the password hashing. Here. Okay, so first of all that we can see that the password hashing in a PHP, and here I will write the how we can use the same thing in a JSP also. Okay, let's see that the last. First of all that we can see the practical in the PHP, and then we can see in a JSP also. Okay, so here you can see that this is a password hashing function that we can use. Okay, so here you can see that the password hashing function. So we can use this function. It is we can creating that the new hashing is the strong one hashing algorithm, and algorithm that we can use that in the password that we can see that the these all are the algorithms. So here you can see the algorithms. Okay, so there are the many algorithms are available here. So here you can see the example of the password hash, how we can use the password hash here. So in the PHP, how we can use the password hash. Okay, so now let's see the here we can see the crypt. Okay, password hash created by the crypt. Okay, so here we can with the help of this function the password is the created in the PHP. Okay, so here we can see there are the many cryptography, and the arguments are also one more thing that I need is the algorithm. Okay, so let's see the where it is the algorithm are available. Go down, goes. Okay, here it is not. Okay, so here it is some algorithms are available. Okay, in for a PHP. So now let's see that the how we can write at the code and how we can securing the password. So here we can just use this function password hash function. Okay, password hash function for what? We can hashing that the password. Okay, password hash function in a PHP, with the help of this one, we can just generating the hashing for the password. So how we can do that? So first of all, that we can see that the commenting the MD5. Okay, let's see that the MD5 also we can comparing that the password with the MD5 and the with the hash. So here I will create the one variable as name as the hash. Okay, so here I will creating that the hash. In this hash we are just using the password hash function. Okay, so in a password hash function, first of all what we need, that we need the string. Okay, and string or the password is storing into the password variable. Okay, so password default, here I will write the password default is that the password default is that the parameter. So here I will use the what is the encryption crypt it is use password hash, create a password hash with the help of this one, just and here we can use a decryption and algorithm. Okay, so password, I think password bcrypt, I think so. Let I will verify that password bcrypt. Yeah, bcrypt password generator. Okay, bcrypt for the password hashing. Okay, we are use the bcrypt for the password hashing. Okay, same thing that we can also use in a Java and a .NET. In a Java and .NET, we can also use the bcrypt for the password hashing. Okay, so here we can just see that this is one. Okay, so this one we can use. Okay, so here we can use the password bcrypt argument. So just copy, and here just we can see the password bcrypt. Sometimes that we can use that the fixed the characters are here like the 8 characters and so on. So here right now if I will see that the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 are here. Okay, so let's see the only 8 characters. Let's see that the password is the or the password. Okay, or we can write the my password. So here I will just writing that the 10 characters of the password. So what we can do here, we can just writing that the cost is the optional. Okay, cost is the optional parameter, it is not a compulsory. Cost is the just the characters of the password. So right now we have the 10 are here. Okay, and after that then we can printing the hash area echo and break the new line. Okay, okay, sorry. Mm, hash, we are storing that the password hash. Okay, so now here you can see that. So this is order the MD5 are here. Okay, I will write it the again here. Okay, so this is order the MD5 and this is order the password bcrypt. So when I will reload, you can see that all time this string is the change area. You can see that. You can notice that all time the string is the change. First character is at the same. Here you can see from the dollar to the dollar is name as the bcrypt area. That's why it is the for the bcrypt area. This is what the actual password is starting from the U and end with the W. This is what the actual password here. This is just symbol of the bcrypt area. We can see that it is just the bcrypt symbol. You can also see that it is starting with the dollar. Okay, here you can see it is the identifier. Okay, it is the hashing identifier. 2y dollar is the hashing identifier. So now we will need only this thing here. So now if anyhow the attacker is see that this is the password hashing that the use into the application. Okay, so if anyhow the attacker is copy this hashes, so when the attacker is go into the login page, then the password is hashing is completely changed. So now attacker is use the older one here, and older one is the automatically expired, and now it generated the new one. So when you the reloading that the page, huh? Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. MD5 for what? MD5 for what? Mm-hmm. Hashing part, yes. Uh-huh, yes. SHA-5 yes, 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 yes. We can also use, but this is the manual thing here. This is the automatically. All are the SHA-526. All are the already used in a password bcrypt. That's why we can use the password bcrypt. Hmm. Yes, yes. Okay. Basically, we can also do it manually, but in that manual case, we can mention that the manual are here. So password bcrypt is all are this already used in a password bcrypt. Hmm. Yes. Correct. 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 So we are just go with the password bcrypt. Yes. Developer mostly is go with the MD5 and encryption. It is not go with the hashing. Only for encryption. It is go with the encryption. Hmm. Okay. So now one more. Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Hmm. Password. Password bcrypt. Password bcrypt. Password bcrypt. Okay, so now here we can one more question is that here you can see all time the password is that the change are here. So now let us there we can see that the one question is that this is for the same password or not, because right now we are using the my password and our password encryption is like that here. So it is the same password for not, like my password is the same password or not. So what we can do here, we will see that just verifying that the password, what we can do that we can just verifying that the password. So how we can verify? So again, that is the same function that are used in a php is the password verify. Okay, with the help of this one we can just verifying the password without the hashes. Okay, so here we can just use after the hash, we can just use the if, and then we can use the password verify. And in the password verify, first of all that we can write out the our main password. Okay, so our main password is the my password, and all the hashing are going into the dollar hash variable. Okay, if it is both match, then it is showing out the password is the verified. So here we can just write the echo and script alert verified. And if it is not, then it is showing the not verified. If it is the password is a different from out the if our the password is the different, then it is showing the not verified. So right now our the password is the same, so let's see, it is verified, it is verified. If I will write the password is my password are here, and here if I will write the only password, so now the hashing is generated for what? My password, and the user is the getting the user is trying that the password for what? Password are here. So in that case it is not verified, so it is showing the not verified. Why it is not verified? Because the hashing is for the my password and the user is the adding that the password is the normal password, so that's why the both are the different. So the hashing is only for the my password. So here you can see that we can also verify that the password. So right now that we can use that the password as a my password are here, but in the real life scenario how we can see that the code are here, you can see the code in any variable, password variable, and here you can see that the any request are here, get or a post, that are the save into the database as a any of the variable name. Okay, this one. Okay, as an input box. So right now we are hmm. uh, uh, yeah, here. Hmm. Hmm. Do, dollar password, and then it is the verified, then it is the verified, because it is stored in a variable. Right now it is a variable. So okay. Okay, okay. So this is what are the password securing code. We can see like the how we can securing that the password are here. So now let's see that the same code, like what things that you remember in that when you're reviewing that the code, or not all this code, only remember this line of the code, this one, password bcrypt. You can ask to the developer it is use the password bcrypt or not, because most commonly and most time the developer is don't know about the password bcrypt and this type of function, because in a the developer, it is used by default is the MD5 or any other encryption, only it is using the encryption. But the highly we can suggest to a developer to use the password bcrypt. Why? Because the password, you can see that the all time the encryption key is randomly changed. Okay, all time the encryption key is the randomly changed. We can also do with the SHA-256 and this one, but in that case we will first of all we need to generate the key. We can also see in an encryption a string. When I will use the encrypting a string, then we can see that the how we can generate the manual encryption area. Right now we can just use the automated area password bcrypt, that is the most commonly technique that we can use. In the later session that we can see like the encrypting the and decrypting the string, where we can see that the all are the things that we can use as a manual or manual function, open SSL manual function to encrypt and decrypt. This is all completely optional, that is not used into the any live application and so on. In live application that we can just go with the password bcrypt function. Let's see that the password bcrypt function how the code is look like that in a Java applications, in a JSP application. This is for the PHP. So in a PHP you need to only remember this line of the code like password bcrypt, and here we can see that the variable only this line of the code. Other code is the for the developer are here. Okay, so we need to know about only this code. Now let's see if we are on a Java application. So in a Java application or in a .NET application, how we can use the password bcrypt are here. So password bcrypt in a JSP. Okay, so in a JSP that we can use the password encryption, or we can see the password hashing we can write, because in a JSP we need to import the modules are here. Okay, so here you can see that we can use that the one of them are here. Okay, and we can use that the any module are here, import the any module in a JSP and PHP both ASP, sorry. Mm. Okay, so we cannot use the MD5, we can just use that the encrypted password in a JSP, encrypt the password. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so here we can encrypt the password. Let's see the where it is the use. So here we need to use the import the servlet. In a JSP we need to import a servlet first. Okay, and then we can go, and servlet name is the crypto. Okay, so this servlet we need to import to use the password bcrypt in a JSP. Okay, and then we can see that where it is that the encryption is the use, base 64 encoder it is used, uh, okay, string password encrypted decrypted and cache description. Okay, it is not used at the bcryption I have, I think. Many of them is not used at the bcrypt IR directly, it is used at the hash password and all these things. But we will see with the bcrypt how we can use the bcrypt in the JSP application also. Okay, I think that I have no example. Okay, so basically what we can do here, we will just importing the this thing here. First of all, in a JSP application we need to import that the crypto. Okay, this servlet that we need to import, and then we can go with this servlet, and then we can use encryption and a decryption in the JSP application. Okay, so here we can see that the how we can encrypt at the password in the PHP. So in the PHP that again that we can revise that. First of all we can now we can understanding in a detail like the how that the password hashing is the work in the PHP. So password hash in a PHP. So here we can see the password hash manual. So you can read about the complete manual are here. So they are the manual. In the manual that you can see that these all are the algorithm. So right now we are use that the bcrypt. So instead of this, you can also go with the password default, argon 2i and 2id. Four algorithms are currently supported in the password hash function in a PHP. Okay, in a PHP. Why I will go with the bcrypt? Because this bcrypt are common use for the JSP also and the .NET also. That's why we are go with the bcrypt area. Other thing that you can see default, it is by default it is use the bcrypt algorithm. You can see by default it is use the bcrypt algorithm. Instead of this, we can also use the argon 2i and the argon 2id are also here. This algorithm that we can also use, it is also used to creating the hash here. So the supported option for the bcrypt. So here we can see these all are the supported options. So here we can see the example of the complete of the password. So how we can use that the password. So if I will use the password default function instead of the password bcrypt here, so in that case it is used the default one, and default one is known as the password bcrypt. Okay, so this is all the about the password encryption, like how we can encrypt that, how the encryption is the work. Rather than what we can do that, like the encryption that we can use for the password, okay, password hashing that is used for encryption for the password. Sometimes we need to also use the encryption for a string. So how we can encrypt the string and how we can decrypt the string and so on. So right now we are just see the password hash function. It is only for the password hashing here, where we can use only for the password hashing. But in that case, if I will use that in any other cases, if you will see that in other cases, sometimes that we need to use the strings are here, like encrypting that the string and decrypting that the same string and like that. So in that case, how we can do that? So code that I will already provide in a notes file, practical that we can see into the next session in a tomorrow, because that I will need to explain the one by one line of the code. So that's why it's taking that the time. So code I already provide in a notes file. After that, the hashing that I will provide the one more code is the encrypting the string. So the first of all, in a next session, in a tomorrow session, first of all we can see that the how we can use the encrypting the string, normal practical first, and then we can go with the next topic. Okay, so first of all that I will share that the code, so you can first of all you can try it by yourself. Okay, and you can see that can you understanding this type of the code or not, and we can see the walkthrough and we can see the complete practical for encrypting the string is a tomorrow, and then we can go with the cookie, like how we can securing that the cookie. This is what the next practical, and next practical is what that the how we can securing that the cookie. I will share the complete htaccess snippet code. Okay, so you can read about this htaccess snippet code, and you can see that the how it is the working. So that's it for the day. If any question, any doubt that related to the password hashing or any other else, then you can ask me. Code. htxs file is the same. htxs file is the same. We can yes, we can just create the file in a parent directory. Basically in a live domain hosting is by default created in a GoDaddy and AWS and like that, it is by default created. Okay, yeah, and yeah. Hmm. Yes, I will upload it and I will share. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm. Yes. Okay, 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 okay. So in the next session, that first of all that we can see the how we can encrypting the string, and then we can see about the cookie. Okay, bye all of you. uh, Tomorrow, yeah, we have a class. Yes. Okay, okay.